a super day. So today I want to talk about an app that I use on my new Apple Watch, Series 4 Nike Apple Watch, which I love it. My husband bought it for me for my big birthday a couple of weeks ago, and so I downloaded a sleep app, and it's called SleepWatch. It is fantastic. I am loving it. But I'm also torn, and I'll get to that part later. So just a short list on why sleep is important. Firstly, cognitive function. We all know that when we get a good night's sleep, we function better, we make better decisions, we can focus better. Mental strength and motivation. When you get enough sleep, and this was way back in my very first video that I ever did, when you get enough sleep, then you make better decisions for your health the next day. You will have more water. You will make better food choices. You will make better choices regarding your activities. And when you get enough sleep, it also improves your motivation to do all of these things. Third one is weight loss. There is a scientific correlation between weight loss and getting enough quality, restful sleep. A fourth one, blood pressure. Getting enough rest decreases your blood pressure. Number 5, it cleans the brain. So think about your brain develops these sticky parts inside through the day, and at night, think of it as a broom that dusts those little sticky spots away. So when you don't get enough rest, your brain gets stickier because it's not getting cleaned, and that can lead to dementia. And this is scientifically proven as well. So getting enough sleep is super important. So it's been a focus of mine for quite a while. And as you know, I am an early morning exerciser, but I'm torn because as I've been following my sleep app, it's telling me to go to bed a little later and wake up a little later. So I have been following it, taking its advice just to see how I feel. So just explaining a little bit about how it works. It uses the gyroscope inside to keep track of your body position, your activity through the night. And it also uses your heart rate monitor, which is built in, which is super accurate, I might add. Just a second. So yeah, the heart rate monitor is super accurate and so much better than the original, which is the other watch I have. So the heart rate is used through the night to measure what your nighttime average is, as well as what your heart rate dip is, which is, I thought this was a new piece of information for me, but the greater your heart rate dip, which is your average daytime heart rate minus your average nighttime heart rate, if that dip is big, fairly wide margin, that's healthier than a shallower heart rate dip. And that was pretty interesting to follow that along. And I could actually tell that there was one night that I had food too close to bedtime and I didn't have as great of a heart rate dip as I did the night before when I had dinner at normal dinner time. Same thing with alcohol. So if you have alcohol at night, we've already talked about this before, when you have alcohol at night, you don't have as good of a sleep. Well, also, your heart rate dip is shallower as well, which I didn't realize that was a thing. So this was new information, and you can totally tell when your heart rate has been up through the night because you wake up feeling not so rested. It's really kind of interesting. So if you hear a little noise in the background, that's just my dog Lance. He's going a little bit crazy right now. He's running circles around me. He's 14, but he's acting about 3. Oh my gosh. Lance! Wow! Anyways, so I've been a good student. Lance. I've been a good Mister. Aren't you tired? Go lay down. You know I'm busy. You can see it. So anyway, I have been a very good student following the advice on the app, going to bed when it says I should go to bed, getting up when it says I should get up, answering the questions that it gives, telling it whether I feel completely rested, somewhat rested, not rested at all. I've been giving it the information it asks of me. And then in turn, it gives me advice. So having that feedback and advice based on that feedback is excellent. So within a week, I started to feel a little bit better. Within 2 weeks, I was starting to feel consistently better. And now I feel 100% better. I feel more rested consistently rather than sporadically. And this is a big deal. I'm feeling, on, if you know what I mean. I think you know what I mean. So in the app, it tracks your total sleep time goal. So if you have a goal of 8 hours or 7.5 hours or 7 hours, you put that in there. I would start with 8 hours and then see what you naturally do and then adjust your goal from there. I started with 8 hours. I found it a little bit much, so I dropped it down to 7.5, which makes sense if you think about it, because a cycle of sleep lasts about 90 minutes. So if you fall asleep and count out a number of REM sleeps, it will work out to be either, 6 or 7.5 or 9 hours, something like that, depending on, your specifics. Not everybody's exactly the same, but it'll be roughly 90 minutes for each cycle. So you want to finish a complete cycle and wake up at the end of that cycle. That is one of the main goals to feeling good when you wake up. If possible, whenever possible, you want to wake up without an alarm clock. You want to naturally wake up when your eyes open and you feel rested. So that needs to be a combination of getting enough overall sleep and enough quality sleep, and then of course waking up at the moment that your eyes open, right? And not going back to sleep. So the app actually looks at all of that information. It looks at your total sleep time goal, your 3-day sleep target, which is for 3 days in a row, how close were you to your target of your sleep goal? Because it's okay. We all know that if you have one day where you get so little sleep for whatever reason, you can survive. You feel okay, but you still need to get good sleep the next couple of days to sort of make up for it. But if you have 2 or 3 days in a row like that, you're gonna feel like crap, and it's really hard to come back and recover from that. It's gonna take a lot longer. So it looks at your 3-day target and tells you how you're doing. It also looks at your total restful sleep, which is another key point. So if you have a disrupted sleep through the night, it's going to show it. And those nights when you have a really good sleep and you say, oh, I had an awesome sleep, you wake up, you feel completely rested. If you look at your restful sleep time, it's usually bigger chunks, and that's what you want. It also looks at your 7-day sleep rhythm. So that would be your circadian rhythm, when you go to sleep, when you wake up. So ideally, it should be the same every day of the week. If you are on shift work, that's going to be really hard to do. So if you can be consistent as much as possible, that is the goal. And I already talked about the heart rate dip, and it also shows your average sleeping heart rate, which is good. When you notice that your average sleeping heart rate has risen up a fair chunk, and you're starting to feel maybe a little bit under the weather, that's usually a first indication looking at your heart rate. So that's interesting. And another thing I like that it does is that it asks you how you feel 5 hours later after you've gotten up. So when you answer that question, it tells the app whether what you're doing is working or not, and it will give you suggestions based on that information. So again, very useful. Something else I like about this app is that you don't have to tell it when you're going to sleep and when you're waking up. It does it automatically. All you have to do is wear your watch to bed. It knows when you go to sleep, it knows when you wake up. It's really quite amazing. So here's the part where I'm torn. I love my early morning workouts. I love getting to the gym early. As you know, the gym is quiet. I can get on any equipment I want, and the workout is done out of the way before everybody else gets up. Before the day has begun, my workout is done. No matter what else happens in the day, that is done. And I love that. My sleep app disagrees with me though. So I'm kind of torn. It is telling me to go to bed at 10:30 and get up at 6 or 6:15. And to me, that is a bit of a late start, even for a normal work day, because I often start work at 7 in the morning. So it doesn't work for me, but I'm trying it. So I've been trying it for the last 3 weeks or so, and I hate to admit it, I am feeling better, but my workouts I've been doing at home instead of at the gym, and I really miss the gym. So first shift my wake up and sleep times a little bit. We will see. So I hope you found this information helpful, as always. And if you have a sleep app that you use, let me know which one it is and how you like it. And if you have an Apple Watch, I highly recommend downloading this one because it's been super helpful. It's really quite interesting, and you learn a lot more about yourself. So yeah, I hope you found this helpful, and if you think someone else might find it helpful, please share it, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks!